Hello fellas. Welcome back to Top 5 Choices. This is Haley from Top 5 Choices, and I hope you all are doing good. In today's video, I am going to do a detailed review and pick the top 5 best graphics tablets, 2022. After doing proper researches, we came to the conclusion that meets the best in terms of overall. Kindly leave a like if you find this helpful, and I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications if you haven't. We will be also providing affiliates link to purchase from Amazon. Kindly use it for best offers and purchase from anywhere in the world. We'll be back with more videos. The Wacom Cintiq 16 has integrated, foldable legs, while the Huion Campus Pro 16 has an optional stand that can also lay flat when needed. The Wacom stylus is also marginally better than the Huion one, but you'll only notice that with a trained eye and lots of previous experience using graphics tablets, and the Huion stylus is by no means a slog to use. The Campus Pro 16 also has a better color gamut coverage ratio, with 120% sRGB over the Cintiq's 96%. The biggest benefit outside of the cash you'd save by buying the Campus Pro 16, though, is the integrated buttons located along the side of the tablet. These mean you don't need to buy a separate macro pad such as the Mini KeyDial KD100, allowing you to set frequently used commands in applications such as Adobe Photoshop to the programmable buttons. Wacom has been leading buttons off its display tablets in recent years, which is a real shame for folks that don't want to use a separate accessory. There are 6 buttons on the Campus Pro 16 that you can allocate commands to, with 2 additional buttons, the topmost being the power switch and the bottom one being a function key. Both of these are slightly larger, but otherwise hard to distinguish if you're not paying attention, as we discovered after switching the tablet off midway through sketching on several occasions. It would have been nicer to space the power button a little further from the other keys. There is also a longer, touch-sensitive button for switching brushes, scrolling and zooming, which you can switch between using the function key, though you can't add any other functions outside of those 3 commands. Wacom is always known for its great build quality, no matter whether we talk of budget Wacom tablet or the more expensive models. The top surface of the one by Wacom seems to be made of exactly the same material that is used in Wacom Intuos. The surface is tough and handles scuffs and scratches with ease. Unlike some Wacom knockoffs, even after prolonged usages, this Wacom surface does not get scratched up easily. The surface of one by Wacom is slightly textured. This surface texture provides slight resistance to the stylus, which makes the pen movements feel more controlled. The texture on the drawing surface is very well balanced. It is neither too aggressive nor too strong. The older Wacom Bamboo model of the tablets used to come with only 1024 levels of pressure sensitivity. In contrast, the new one by Wacom comes with a better, faster, and more accurate stylus. It is twice as sensitive compared to the older Bamboo stylus and comes with 2048 levels of pressure sensitivity. Another great feature of this stylus is that it uses Wacom's EMR technology, which means it does not need to be charged. The pen is made of plastic from top to bottom and has 2 buttons at the side. The button is of high quality and has a tactile response on clicking. The initial activation force of the stylus is also on point, which means you don't need to press the stylus extra hard for it to be detected by the tablet. This is a common problem in other cheaper drawing tablets. Point 1 by Wacom has a very true to paper like the texture on the drawing surface. It provides a slight resistance and makes a paper-like sound, which the drawing experience very pleasing. The XPPN Artist Pro 16 has a nice, clean-looking work area and is fully laminated with a subtly textured anti-glare film. Although this pen display pretty much mirrors the XPPN Innovator 16 in design features, the work area is slightly smaller at 15.4 inch whereas the latter is 15.6. Display resolution is the same at 1080p, a standard high enough to work with little to no pixelation, but the color gamut, its ability to replicate color accurately, is significantly higher at 99% Adobe RGB, compared to the Innovator 16's 92%. My naked eye would have a hard time differentiating between this, but accuracy in color is a good thing when painting digitally. When I finally got the thing working, the pen just would not calibrate, and it kept shutting down. Though customer service eventually stepped in and helped out, I found it to be a surprisingly good drawing experience. The display's glass is so close to the LCD screen beneath it that there is no discernible gap to speak of, leaving the impression that you are drawing directly onto the image. This is close to the experience of drawing on an iPad, though I wish I could get rid of the cursor beneath the nib, as I always find it a little distracting. What can be said apart from this? Well, apart from the initial calibration issue, which was fixed, I have zero complaints with the drawing action. It's smooth, responsive, and accurate, and I quickly got lost in the image-making process, which is what it's all about really. The Artis Pro 16 seems to be based on the XPPN Innovator 16, which is no bad thing as it's a pretty swish design. The clue is in the number 16, too, I guess. The Artis Pro 16 has metal casing front and back, in a space gray-esque color that looks very stylish. It's pretty much identical in size to the Innovator 16, as well, and just as thin at 9mm. The customizable dual dials and 8 shortcut buttons are the same, too. The buttons are nicely dampened and have a great feel to them, as does the dual dial, the inside of which is touch-capable. As you'd expect with a Pro upgrade though, everything with the Artis Pro 16 feels a little more tactile and better made, as if slightly more premium materials have been used. Zensalab's Pen Display Medium sits just under a 13-inch MacBook in size, neither too big nor too small, and at only 8mm thick it looks and feels like a very nice piece of design. It has an ergonomic curved front edge, which feels like the user's comfort has been taken into account. This is especially welcome considering those long hours spent drawing. The tablet seems super sleek and well made, from the texture, or tooth, of the active drawing zone, to the metal alloy underside with 6 rubber non-slip pads. It all adds to a build quality you might expect from a more premium piece of kit by someone like Wacom, and Intuos Pro Medium would be a fair comparison. The active area is delineated by 4-corner LEDs you can customize in 8 different colors. It's a nice addition. You can set different colors for different programs. For example, when they light up blue, you know you set for Photoshop, pink for Affinity, yellow for Corel, etc., or whatever you like. 3 small buttons sit at the top of the tablet, fully customizable of course. They seem perfect for accessing the tablet or pen settings, for example, or for switching programs. You may well ask, where are the rest of the shortcut buttons, so common on graphics tablets? And that's where the Quick Key remote comes in, because Zensalabs seems to be all about the refinement and attention to detail on a single product, meaning the bundle as a whole. Those Quick Key shortcuts have been lifted off the tablet, say the 3 primary buttons, and configured, if you will, into this very cool, separate, OLED display and 9-button remote with physical wheel dial. The remote itself is as nice a build as the tablet and is customizable with up to 40 shortcuts. The best thing about it is its ability to configure by color too, just like the tablet itself. A bit of time spent in the settings means a relatively easy configuration of dial sequences, which is perfect for scrolling, zooming, rotating, and changing brush sizes. Just assign a color to each job. The Surface Pro 8, luckily, brings some much-needed design improvements to the table. The easiest one to notice is the new graphite color, which simply looks incredible. While it seems like Microsoft has been focusing on lighter shades for its devices in recent years, the darker colors with this year's lineup look incredible. The chassis is also refined, with more rounded edges, that seem much more comfortable to hold for long periods of time, rather than the flat sides with sharper corners. Bezels are also smaller than ever, and this is that final thing that makes the Surface Pro 8 look like an all-new device, rather than a relic from the early 2010s. It makes the screen look so much bigger, and makes the device look more premium than ever, which is good, because it's also more expensive than ever. The smaller bezels do more than just look good, though. They allow for an 11% larger display. The Surface Pro 8 now has a 13-inch PixelSense display with a resolution of 2880 by 1920. That's right in the middle of 1440p and 4K, but for a 13-inch display, it's absolutely gorgeous. What makes this display even better is that along with the bigger size, it also has a 120Hz refresh rate. This is definitely not a gaming device, but take it from us, once you use a high refresh display, even for everyday computing, you're not going to want to go back. The display is configured to 60Hz out of the box, mainly in the interest of boosting battery life, but you can enable it at any time by going into your display settings. With a device that's meant to be as portable as the Surface Pro 8, performance is always a difficult balance to strike. You want it to be fast, but you don't want to push it so hard that battery life goes down the toilet and it becomes too hot to handle. Microsoft has apparently put a lot of effort into re-engineering the internals of the Surface Pro 8, and it allowed the company to configure the processor with a higher TDP than past versions of the tablet, boosting it to 23W instead of the 15W of the Surface Pro 7's processor. That's not going to be a night and day difference, but combine that with just how much faster Tiger Lake, compared to the low-power Ice Lake chips in the last laptop, and Microsoft is claiming up to a 2x performance increase. That's a pretty bold assumption, and unfortunately the Surface Pro 8 falls short of that mark. That doesn't mean that it's not faster. In fact, in Cinebench R15, a test we've retired and replaced with Cinebench R23, the Surface Pro 8 is nearly 50% faster than the Surface Pro 7, which is a pretty incredibly generational increase. The difference isn't as stark in Geekbench 4, but it's still noticeably faster.